because here's the deal. There's 3.6 million small businesses in California. There's probably more, actually. Those data come from 2005, the last time the Small Business Administration in Washington, which compiles the data that we use, did their count. In times of great unemployment, many people move into self-employment. So I would suspect there's more than 3.6 million small businesses in California right now. My job is to help you and your 3.6 plus million colleagues deal with your state government. And to do that, there's myself and my deputy, Michael Gonzalez. So there's two people in Sacramento whose full-time job it is to help you and millions of others of you deal with state government. So I can't possibly do that by myself. I can only do that by networking, first of all, networking within the government, and second of all, and more importantly, networking with small business organizations, small business networks, because we have to figure out a way to work together to leverage our power, which exists in a virtual state, and turn that into real power. And by power, I don't just mean politically, although that's important, but financially, market-wise, creatively, looking at being part of the international economy. These are the things that the success for all of us comes as we figure out how to work with one another, because the answers to everything that we need exist among all of the small businesses in the state of California. So here's a little official stuff. This office that I occupy was created in 2000 during the governorship of Gray Davis. It used to be in one of the agencies in state government, but they moved it to the governor's office so that I could have the opportunity of working with all of the state agencies. As some of you know, different state agencies have different small business roles and responsibilities, and if this agency isn't at a high enough level, they can basically blow me off. So now I'm in the governor's office, so everybody has to take my call. It doesn't mean, all right. It doesn't mean that they do what I want them to do, but they at least take my call. The job here is, as I implied earlier, to amplify the voice of small businesses in dialogue with state government. We were talking earlier about real estate regulation. Just as an example, any one of you who is in a business that's regulated by the state, we talked about pharmacy business. To deal with the regulatory mentality is often a challenge. So part of what I try to do, or I work on doing, is helping small businesses speak governmentese and helping government officials understand what small businesses face when they're trying to comply with state rules. It's really important that we also develop a network to work together to develop the economic development policies of the state of California. Right now, this is the greatest opportunity that any one of us, particularly in the baby boom generation, I'm 57, so I'm smack dab in the middle of that generation, has ever had to reshape policies. There's an economist who said that crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And here's an opportunity for us to collectively use our insights, our thoughts, our passions to help the state develop its economic policies to support you and your colleagues moving forward as we move out of this situation. I'm going to let you in on a dirty little secret. Most people in Sacramento who have these responsibilities don't know much more than you do. Some people have their MBAs, some people have their degrees in economics and so forth, but the truth of the matter is it's only in the collective wisdom where the true answers are. And so part of my responsibility is to help get the voice of the collective wisdom to policymakers in Sacramento so that they understand, they have the insights that you may have, either individually or collectively, about what we can do to grow our economy in a way that promotes the passions that each one of us has for ourselves and our families. I also work to connect you to resources that exist at the state level. Now, there's many resources beyond what the state offers, but I would be surprised if everybody in this room, or if anybody in this room, with possible exception of my friends at the Small Business Development Centers, and even then, I don't know all of the resources that are available from the state for small businesses. So part of my job is to create and manage a website, which I'm going to walk through with you in a minute, on accessing all of the different resources that are available. Having said that, there are many more resources than what the state offers, and my long-term goal is to create a website that links to all of the resources, including those from the federal government, those from local, regional governments, those from the nonprofit sector, and ultimately those from the for-profit sector. Because if I say to you, you have to ask for help, and then I don't give you the phone number, it's kind of hard to ask if you don't know who to call. Last, but not least, part of my responsibility is to deal with regulatory obstacles. If your business does have a problem with a state regulatory agency, whether it's an environmental agency or it's the Labor Commission or Cal OSHA or any other number of state agencies, I'm empowered to look into that case on your behalf. Sometimes it's just a lack of communication. Sometimes the state agency is being a little overzealous in the way it applies the rules and regulations. And sometimes there are just other factors involved. It just helps to have an independent party look into the case on your behalf. So if you want information from my office, this is the web address. Please write it down. www.sba, Small Business Advocate, SBA, not Small Business Administration, smallbusinessadvocate.ca.gov. If you skip the CA, you'll go to the Small Business Administration federal webpage, so that's helpful. But if you want to go to the website that we've created, it's sba.ca.gov. There's a tab for locating all of the small business advocates in the state, because there are departmental small business advocates, which I'll tell you about in a minute. There's a tab for economic development, which goes into some of the different agencies that do work on helping grow our economy. Fact sheets, calendar, government small business, that's the governor's conference I'll talk about, and then disaster preparedness. So also along this side, the right side of the web page, there's links to all the different state agencies that develop regulations that you're going to have to comply with. So this is designed to help you and your colleagues keep current with, let's say, this says the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, so Cal OSHA. What are they up to? What regulations are they writing that you may have to comply with? You have an opportunity to participate in regulation development. You just need to know what's going on and where the opportunity is. How can you make a comment on or dialogue with Cal OSHA as they're writing new rules? California Environmental Protection Agency, the Employment Development Department, EDD, the Air Resources Board, which has the responsibility for implementing AB 32, which is the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Act, the Bureau of Automotive Repair, our automotive kids are gone, Franchise Tax Board, Department of General Services, Department of Toxic Substance Control,